Hi, guys. Welcome back to Starkey Formstead. So, my internet may be running slow, and I apologize ahead of time. Look, as you come on, hit the like button, drop over in chat, tell me who you are, where you're watching from, and tell me if this has ever happened to you. Have you, a friend, or a family member been surrounded by a mob while in your vehicle? I've got 4 quick videos to show you today of different situations where violent mobs have attacked vehicles with young people, vehicles with young men, vehicles with fathers and their children, and elderly women being pulled out of their vehicles and attacked. Now, you may think this is only going to happen when certain demographics of our country are protesting peacefully, but it's becoming an occurrence that is happening in a lot of cities across America due to street racing. People are accidentally pulling up on a street race, or they're going to get the address of the street race, of the meetup, so that they can alert officials. And by doing so, they're putting their lives in danger. But before we start, let me ask you this question. Do you believe that you should stop your vehicle if a mob surrounds it? Have you ever been told that? Just stop the vehicle. Just wait for law enforcement. Have you ever been told that? If yes or no, please put it in comments. Watching violent protests got me thinking about individual tactics for escaping riots and demonstrators. One scenario, of protesters blocked a road and highway, occasionally attack people in the cars that were supposed on the roadway. So people stop their vehicles because the protesters have left the sidewalks and have come out into the middle of the road. So the first car in the line stops the vehicle. Now everybody is stuck in their vehicle with violent protests going on around them. It said here that others use this opportunity to carjack, ready, the victims and steal their cars and belongings. In one such carjacking attempt, an elderly man was dragged from his car by carjackers and beaten with his own oxygen mask. Clearly, we need to know what our options are when we find ourselves surrounded by criminal attackers. It says 1, avoidance is key. Many protests and riots are either predictable or planned in advance. We know that at Starkey Farmstead. We've all been talking about how all of these protests were planned, who funded them. So know where they're supposed to be. Avoid those areas. If you are alert, you should be able to see masses of people far enough in advance that you can act before they're in the road. Okay, let's make that clear. The safest thing to do in this situation is to keep moving, bumping people out of the way with your car. Unfortunately, that usually is not legal and can be considered vehicular assault in specific states, folks. And if they are blocking the road, chances are you may go to jail. Now, in the videos I'm fixing to show you, these people all stopped their vehicles. In the end, they began to move again, but it was already too late. Damage had happened to the vehicle. The people inside had already, been assaulted physically and or mentally. If the drivers had not stopped their vehicles in any of these instances, a lot less damage to them and their vehicles. What does the law say in your state? In Louisiana, in Florida, Oklahoma, and a few other states, we have a right If we feel threatened by you, to drive through the crowd. Because I know that in San Francisco, you're going to go to jail. Make sure if they attack your vehicle that if you have a weapon, do not get out of the vehicle with it. It will be taken from you. You're supposed to call 911 immediately if you are not comfortable beginning to move your vehicle. Make sure that your doors are locked and your seatbelt is off. It should go without saying that your doors should be locked always when you are driving. If your doors do not automatically lock, get in the habit of locking them every time you get in the vehicle. Make sure your windows are down approximately a ½ inch. It makes it harder for them to bust a window if it is partially down. That far, a ½ inch, not far enough for them to punch you through the window, just far enough that if they're punching the window, they can't shatter it. Okay? Why am I making these videos? Hi, Denver. Hey, Pennsylvania, because I'm worried about what I saw on these videos. And I understand that street racing, that mob rule beginning to surround cars and assault people, and people are getting hurt. By the way, everybody that gets the newsletter at Starkey Farmstead, we will be Zooming Monday night at 7 Central Standard Time. You'll get your email here in a bit about how to get on that Zoom. If you all talk and group you guys up, or if you just want to support our channel, look in the top of comments. There are different ways that you can support us. Make sure you put your email in the memo. It says here, your seatbelt should be off. Seatbelts will reduce your ability to draw a firearm if somebody gets into the vehicle with you and attacks to you. It will with you inside of it. Okay, it says here, then get out with the crowd. If a Molotov cocktail hits your car, drive away quickly. Roll your windows down. It may put fire out. It says here, grenades in the car with you. All right. Make sure that when you disperse the crowd, that it doesn't blow back into you trapped in the vehicle. Yeah, Miss Catherine, I warned y'all at the beginning that my YouTube, let's see if it'll let me play these videos for you guys. If not, be on the Zoom. I'm going to talk to y'all about this.
Scenes in downtown LA caught on video after a man claims he was ripped out of his car by a mob.
Yeah, the victim says he was beaten and robbed right in broad daylight. Take a look. The attack left the victim with a broken leg, his car vandalized.
KTLA's Carlos Acedo joins us in studio now with details on the brutal attack and also reaction from the victim. Carlos.
Rick Corinne, good evening. A mob attack on the streets of LA. Part of the brutal beatdown caught on camera. The victim on the receiving end could be heard asking for help. The person recording in disbelief about what he was witnessing.
This is what LA has come to, dog. I'm not even playing, dog. I literally just parked, bro, right over there. Man, these kids are wilding, bro. They're not even older than 20, dog.
Complete mayhem on a downtown LA street as a group of teens target this vehicle and the driver.
Yo, man, hey, I'm sorry. I don't know these people. I just parked right there, bro.
Are you okay, sir?
The driver, Shiloh Beg Bazarbai Ulu, can be heard telling the man recording to call police. He was left limping after being brutally attacked. His car ransacked and left badly damaged.
They were destroying my car, and oh my God, it was like a nightmare.
Shiloh Beck says he feared for his life, confused about what was unfolding. The attack happened the evening of August 2nd as he was stopped at a red light on Olympic and Hope. A group of teens on bicycles pulled up in front of his vehicle, and when the light turned green, he says he attempted to pass them up.
When I was passing, so one of them threw out a bottle of water like into my car.
As he pulled over and got out of his car, he says the group of roughly 30 teens.
He pulled over and got out of his car, and that group of teenagers began to attack him. They broke his leg. That's like a 28-year-old man. Then they proceeded to steal everything out of his vehicle. Folks, do not get out of your vehicles. They may look like harmless 12-year-olds on bikes. They may look like harmless 18-year-olds. But the mob mentality is the issue here. And depending on where you live, the color of the people doing it changes. If you're in Atlanta, it's a lot of Hispanic and white kids doing these street races. If you're in San Francisco, you've got a lot of Latinos and white street people. But either way, it's no one demographic. It's every color.
Drivers out of a lot of money. This week alone, 2 trusting victims have come forward to say they were robbed of more than $1,000.
They say they only meant to send a few bucks to the teens who sell water at intersections throughout the city. Fox 5's Rob D'Arienzo is live in Midtown tonight. Rob, it's an important warning.
Yeah, that's right, guys. They say no good deed goes unpunished, and these victims tell me they were just trying to send a couple bucks to the water boys over Cash App, but when they handed their phones to them to put in their usernames, they got scammed.
If y'all are in Atlanta, do not give any money to the water boys.
It was a bottle of water that cost Tristan Richardson $1,100. She encountered Atlanta's infamous water boys off the downtown connector in Midtown earlier this week.
One of the boys came up to my window, and I let my window all the way down, and I was like, I don't have any cash.
The water boy told her he'd take Cash App, so she put in her $2 payment and tried to get his username.
And then he was like, he took the phone. He was like, no, let me just type it in. You're not typing it right.
As soon as she got her phone back, she realized she messed up.
When he gave the phone back to me and I sent the payment, it was $1,100.
And it seems to be a growing trend. Police say on Monday.
So that's in Atlanta. Stop rolling your windows down. Stop it. What they're selling you was probably stolen to begin with. This is how people get scammed. This is how women have their phones taken and then all their information, because I have banking information on my phone, all my accounts. Do you see what I'm saying? Folks, stop being so trusting. Exactly. Somebody goes, that's so stupid. Never hand your phone to somebody you don't know. I agree. Someone else said, look, thank you. From Ohio, thank you. Somebody said it's legal for you to carry a shotgun in your vehicle. You better check the state, friend. It's not legal in every state. Now, this one is very concerning.
Lee Allen and his 2 children are out on an errand.
I was going to run to the store and grab a pair of work pants. Max and Lexi said they want the ride. We made a quick stop out of it.
But as they leave the store, the Allens are confronted by this woman.
My name is Lee Allen. This is my son, Max. This is my daughter,
Lexi.
And we survived a crime. My initial thought when I saw her was, I'm not going to even pay her any attention because I know this is our car.
Get your ass out my way! To court.
I am. It started to get more serious when my dad told me to start recording.
Press 911.
Max, call. More people started coming to the car. We couldn't go anywhere.
She started yelling, and it kind of seemed like it woke up the rest of the street people. It almost was like an invitation to come join in.
This man puts a menacing hand in his pocket.
What did you do? I thought maybe he had a gun. I don't know if this guy has a gun, but I also don't want to make a move and one of my kids get hurt. I'm a business owner. I got a big family. I got a lot to lose if I make a wrong decision in life. So I always try to stay on the right side of the law.
But a new bystander is on the scene.
I'm at the accident at the intersection of Sprague and lock your door. Sprague, you have to. Yeah. This is her car. This is not her car. I slammed the door on him and try to keep my kids safe and think on what's the next best move.
Get out of the car. Not her car. This is not her car. Hello? The Allen's car takes a pummeling.
Oh, Dad.
I felt like it was just us three going against
Everything. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dad.
I can't see anything. They're using bikes to hit my car. They're trying to open my doors. I got 2 kids in the car with me. My name is Lee. Lee Allen. I drove off because they're hitting my car and I feel threatened for my life.
As they flee, the Allens are being pursued.
Back, Daddy's behind you. I was very scared.
Now, I could tell you all the things that he did wrong in that video, but I think he learned right there. He tried to calmly have a conversation with somebody that was a street person who's obviously either on drugs and alcoholic or hustles for a living. In other words, they don't care about the truth. His children were in the car. He didn't want to escalate it. When he called the police, this, is in Washington State, Spokane. I mean, as liberal as you can get. The police get there and they fuss at him, want to see his driver's license, want to see his registration of the vehicle. He shows them the video they recorded. The gentleman on the motorcycle got no charges. The gentleman on the roof of the car ran off before the police got there. The lady that started all of it, she got a disturbing the peace, which is a misdemeanor. It's a warning, basically. This is what you are up against when you are trapped in a car with your children or your family and you're being surrounded by a mob. That was broad daylight in a parking lot of a store. There was no street racing. There was no protest going on. You never know when it's going to happen. Now, legislation has been passed in states like Louisiana and Florida that says in that situation, I am within my rights to run you over. And if I feel threatened for my life, I will not have any legal action taken against me. But your car is not always a safe place to stay in.
And look at those frightful moments as 6 on Your Side investigates.
A crowd whipped into a frenzy by what appears to be an older teenage girl attacking 55-year-old Chris, who's still fearful, doesn't want her last name used.
When they had me by the hair and there were so many people, I knew if they got me to the ground, I was going to be badly beaten if I was going to survive that.
As I first showed you last night, her car also suffered blows.
As I see that kid go through my windshield and hear them cheer. Disgusts me.
She was, she says, a concerned neighbor before the attack late Saturday night.
911 needing police, fire, medical. And they're tearing it up.
Calling 911 to report the gathering of young people in cars while taking video of the crowd.
Chris says she only came to this parking lot because the 911 dispatcher asked her for an address. And so she drove up here to try and get one off of the building.
The director of Douglas County 911 says the dispatcher never would have told Chris to go there.
And all I was trying to do was just report to the police so they could come and handle this mass crowd of kids.
But social media posts show some in the crowd egging on others to go after Chris with words, then hands and fists. Chris couldn't call to report the assault because someone in the crowd had grabbed her phone as she dialed 911. Listen to the call. Communication says a dispatcher called back the cell number and didn't get an answer. After leaving the parking lot, Chris drove home to call 911 and report the attack.
Unbelievable. She is lucky to be alive.
I sent the attack video to Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen.
She's also a citizen who's concerned, and she was trying to give real-time information to law enforcement. Now, again, in retrospect, don't get in the middle of that crowd. Keep your distance. But if you do find yourself in the middle of a crowd, you still, it doesn't mean that you have lost the right to be safe.
Hansen says
That was his way of saying she didn't have to stop moving her vehicle. Folks, listen to me. Hey, Leslie, how are you, sweetie? You have to protect yourself. You have a right to be safe, regardless of where you are and what you're doing. Maybe you're shopping. Maybe you're on the way to a doctor's appointment. Maybe you have your grandchildren, or in my case, my godchild or my dog in the vehicle with me. And I can tell you guys this. When I'm in traffic and traffic stops, I don't stop on the bumper of the car in front of me. I stay a half a vehicle length to a full vehicle length between me and the car in front of me. There's a purpose for that. It's called defensive driving. If something pops off, Samantha can go around. If this car won't move, they're too afraid to do what needs to be done, Samantha can go around. Look, guys, this is my second live for today. I've got to get busy taking care of some stuff, but we love you guys. Keeping you safe is the most important thing. It's what we do at Starkey Farmstead, is try to educate you on what your legal rights are in every situation. If you are interested in supporting our channel, you can look in the top of comments. If you do choose to support us, you will get the newsletter and the Zoom link for this Monday. God bless you. Make sure you are still subscribed. Guys, be safe out there.